everything that Blackmagic Design announced today recapped in just a few minutes, so you don't have to watch the full 1-hour presentation. Hey there, video and live stream friends. I'm going to waste no time today and jump right into it, but first, a quick ask. If you could simply like my video, and if you're not already subscribed, please press the subscribe button. It really supports the channel, and thank you so much. So let's dive in. There were several exciting announcements from Blackmagic Design today, and if you weren't able to watch the full recording, I'll link to it below. Starting off with the Blackmagic Camera app, which is now free and available in the Apple App Store right now. The Blackmagic Camera app adds digital film camera controls to the iPhone. Based on the same operating system as the Blackmagic cameras, the iPhone content creators now gain an intuitive touch interface with precise control over focus, iris, zoom, ISO, shutter, white balance, and more. It records 10-bit Apple ProRes files as well as HEV-C or H.264 up to 4K, and you can record the Blackmagic Cloud storage to collaborate in DaVinci Resolve with editors anywhere in the world. You can see audio meters, add 3D LUTs, and work on projects in the cloud all from this app. It can shoot in 16:9 or vertical aspect ratios and has a stealth mode for shooting 16:9 while holding the phone vertically. Again, the app is available right now for free in the Apple App Store. Next up, we have the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K coming in at $2,595 and is available to purchase right now. The camera features a full-frame 24x36mm 6K sensor, 13 stops of dynamic range, L-mount lens mount, dual native ISO up to 25,600, and records to CF Express cards. The 6K footage is uncropped and has an open gate 3x2 image. It can also take 24.6 megapixel stills. The 6K goes up to 36 frames per second at 6048 by 4032, which is 3x2 open gate, or 60 frames per second at 6048 by 2520 at a 2.4:1 aspect ratio, and 60 frames per second at 4096 by 2160. Full HD can shoot at 120 frames per second, and now takes a larger Sony MPF 570 battery and is now available for order at $2,595. The link to that is below in the description of this video. Alongside the cinema camera, a surprising announcement was the Blackmagic Micro Studio Camera 4K G2, which we haven't seen an update about in a long time. The next generation super tiny camera is coming in at $995 and will become available in October of 2023, so just a month away. The new model retains the incredibly compact design of the original, but with an upgraded 4K sensor, 13 stops of dynamic range, dual native ISO, and now has 12G SDI output for up to 2160p at 60 frames per second output. There's a new USB-C port for recording Blackmagic RAW to external SSDs and network control using Ethernet adapters. You can also color correct these cameras when they're plugged into an ATEM switcher, and it supports 23.98 frames per second up to 60 frames per second. It's still a micro four thirds lens mount, so it's compatible with lenses from Olympus, Panasonic, Sigma, and more. You've got an HDMI port, USB-C port, 12-volt DC locking power connector on one side with SDI in, SDI out, and a 3.5mm microphone connection on the opposite side. It can be powered by Canon LPE6 batteries. Next up, we have the Blackmagic Studio Camera 4K Plus G2 at $1,345, and it's available now. I'll link to it below. It's an updated studio camera which adds 12G SDI to connect to SDI switchers like the ATEM Constellation, and adds support for remote camera control over networks, as well as a 3.5mm talkback output for a headset. Note that there is HDMI output as well, and it still retains the 4K sensor and micro four thirds lens mount. Okay, a quick note here. All of this gear is great, but it doesn't mean a whole lot if you don't know how to build an audience of raving clients for your video business. That's why I just dropped my new training, Video Client Magnet: How to Build a Six-Figure Video Business That Magically Attracts New Clients on Autopilot. In just a day, if you're really ambitious, you can go through all 7 training modules that show you offers that you can propose to new clients right away. quick and easy networking email templates, and how to create loyal, lasting clients. Whether you're a videographer or live streamer, this $67 training has over 50 training videos to help you grow your video business. You can check it out in the link down in the description below. Now back to the recap. Blackmagic wasted no time in moving along to a few more announcements, so we'll round this out with the ATEM 1ME Advanced Panel 20 and ATEM 1ME Advanced Panel 30, starting at $3,899, and it's available next month. 2 new hardware control panels that are designed to access the full power of the ATEM Constellation HD and 4K switchers. The new 20 and 30 models feature the same design as the 2ME and 4ME advanced panels, but in a compact size to fit into a broadcast studio space. The new 1ME panels include up to 3 system control LCDs, buttons for controlling 4 upstream keyers, 4 downstream keyers, and 4 ME rows, as well as a joystick, T-bar fader, and more. Last but not least, on the hardware side is the Blackmagic Video Hub 80x80 12G, coming in at $9,995 and available November of 2023. The larger 80x80 12G SDI router will let you connect any combo of SD, HD, and Ultra HD to the same router. It has a front control panel and LCD to display labels or live video, and is considered a zero-latency 12G SDI router, with reclocking on every single 12G SDI input and external Ethernet control. SDI reclocking means that the signal will be regenerated so the signal doesn't degrade over longer cable runs. Turning to the software side, DaVinci Resolve 18.6 has been announced, with new Blackmagic Camera Cloud workflow to sync and capture to cloud projects, automatic proxy generation, and upload to Blackmagic Cloud storage, support for outer text strokes in titles and subtitles, the ability to assign and apply favorite keywords to clips and markers. Fusion Studio is updated to 18.6, and then 2 last software updates to mention. First is the Blackmagic Web Presenter 3.3 update, adding support for SRT streaming, an audio codec for talkback from the streaming bridge, support for audio source selection on the HDMI and SDI monitor output, and overall performance and stability improvements. There's also support for Hep-C streaming, and the software is out right now. Lastly, a tiny update to the ATEM Switcher software version 9.2 adds support for SRT streaming, support for the ATEM 4ME Constellation 4K, and overall performance and stability updates. Thanks for joining me on this whirlwind update of Blackmagic Design's latest updates and releases, from the camera app to the new ATEM advanced panels and the new video hub, not to mention the ability to stream using the SRT protocol and the new micro camera. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates in the world of live streaming, and if you want to dive deeper, be sure to check out the links below in the description.